I'm here with Zach Medina at Herman's Coffee, and we're going to talk about ownership. He is the co-owner of Viral Ideas, and he knows, what it's like to manage a team and to kind of take ownership of not only his business, but the actions and the problems that he has to solve.
So when I looked at ownership, I really took it as owning your own stuff, owning your own problems. And sometimes maybe it's not even your own problem, but actually it is your own problem. And the quickest way, in my opinion, that I've found is to solve a problem is to just own it. I gave an example before, was basically saying, we've gone through 120 clients, we've worked with 120 clients up in the past 3 years. In the early stages, it was always their fault. We would always blame them. Or when we started first hiring, it was always, if we saw a mistake or some problem, we were like, oh, it's the employee's fault or whatever. And soon you kind of I reflected, and my business partner Dave and I were basically like, you know what? No, it's us.
Right.
Like it's our fault. Maybe we made the wrong hire, or we didn't give them the tools to succeed, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, something that I think is a bit different than a lot of other things out in this world is when you own a business, and whether you're a co-founder or co-owner, at the end of the day, it stops with you.
Yeah.
Like, you have no one else to blame but yourself.
Right. Yeah, so before we talked about victim mentality, how do you get away from the victim mentality and say, it does come back on me, this is, for me, this is my life, I got to take control and I have to own that?
A few different things. I would say with experiences. So dealing with clients and having them basically be start to blow up, at the littlest things, something may happen and they blow up because you're blaming them. And no one wants to be blamed for something. So especially a client, they're paying you, they want the best possible service. So if you can kind of just say, you know what, it was our mess up, we'll make do, and you fix it, I will guarantee that whole conversation, it's actually a funny thing at Viral. If there is ever, it's very rare, but if there is ever an issue or someone didn't like a video or something like that, we've actually found a way to flip it and actually get more business out of people when we just own it. Because they're waiting for a fight. They're sitting there with punching bags. Right?
Yeah.
They want to fight, and then you're like, no, you're right, Miss Thompson, or Mr. Whatever. You're right. It was our fault.
Yeah.
And it totally changes it.
So you run your own company, so it's a little easier because it's your baby to take that ownership, right? If you want to call it that. But let's talk to a student or an intern who is, handling a mundane task or taking an assignment. Maybe they're not the best writer and they have to write a paper, or they have to read a book, a passage, whatever, right? How do they take ownership of something maybe they're not, so eager and, passionate about?
So, two things. Number one, you chose to effectively be in that, right? So, arguably, I guess you could say, you have the choice to be in a certain class or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And of course, now someone's going to say, I was in college too. Well, there's certain electives you have to take or whatever it's called. Yeah. And I get that. But at the same time, I feel it comes back to, do you not want to be the best of yourself? That's how I looked at it, is, do I believe in this? Is this something I actually want to do? Yes or no? If it was yes, then I just did it. Right? And it's so easy to blame the professor, to blame the school, to blame everything but yourself. But actually, from what I found, is it makes me feel better when I'm just you know what? No, it was me.
Right.
I'm the one that chose this class. I'm the one that chose the fact that it's 8 a.m. and I have to go out and do it. And if I don't, well, then it's back on me and it's my fault.
Right.
And even look at the consequences with it is if you don't do it now, let's say you have to write a paper and you're like, oh, well, they didn't give me this, they didn't give me that, they didn't give me this assignment. And then next thing you know, you get an F. Well, am I going to blame the professor or am I going to blame myself? It's easy to blame the professor.
Right.
I'm going to blame myself. I got the F.
Right. What could you have done differently? What could you have learned? And I think ultimately it comes down to what could you have learned. So when you were talking about running your own show and, you have a client who might not have liked something, but really what you want to know is, what do you like, right?
Yes.
And how can we kind of either start from scratch and do it over, or what can we learn from that in terms of, maybe just taking out one scene. Maybe it's just they didn't like that there was a trash can in the last, moment of the video, and all you have to do is do that, and it takes you 2 seconds. So it's rather than fighting them, you just do that and make them happy. So I think a lot of this ownership comes from within, but a lot of it is towards the goals that are external, I think.
100%.
So I think that's a great way to end, and thank you, Zach.
Thank you.